World Development Report 2014. Risk and Opportunity. Overarching Principles in Integrated Risk Management with Norman Loaiza, Director, World Development Report 2014.
We are at the end of the course, and one key challenge remains, and this is how to mainstream risk management into the development agenda. There are 3 steps to do it. Number 1 is through a change in approach for development planning, from planning under certainty to considering change and uncertainty as fundamental characteristics of modern economies. Number 2, through policies oriented to integrated risk management. As you have seen in the course, there is no silver bullet, no single policy, but a set of cohesive policy recommendations that can be applied to different systems in society. For households, we recommend universal health insurance and conditional cash transfers. For communities, we recommend public infrastructure and services that can be implemented with the collaboration of local communities. For enterprises, we recommend streamlining regulations and improving public services so that both flexibility and formality in the economy can be advanced. For the financial system, we recommend macroprudential policies to diminish the risk of a systemic financial crisis. For the macroeconomy, we recommend countercyclical monetary and fiscal policies to reduce the impact of shocks coming from inside or outside the economy. And for the international community, we recommend an incremental approach towards global agreements, especially when we have to deal with complex global risks such as climate change and global warming. Number 3, through institutions such as a National Risk Board. Why do we need a National Risk Board? To integrate risk management, considering synergies, trade-offs, and priorities in addressing different risks in different contexts. The National Risk Board should combine advisory and implementation roles. The design should be country-specific, but we recommend that they be composed of policymakers and independent experts. There are 2 large models of a National Risk Board. The first one is a model of a National Risk Board within government. This is what Singapore, for example, does. The second model is of having the National Risk Board as an independent agency. This is what the Netherlands and the UK, for example, do. In conclusion, after reviewing the evidence, the analysis throughout the course, we are in a position to recommend 5 policy principles to guide public action. The first is do not generate uncertainty or unnecessary risks. In a sense, this is the do no harm principle. For instance, policies that promote gender inequality or ethnic favoritism harm rather than support risk management. The expropriation of private assets, likewise, especially those for savings like pension funds, in the end hurt risk management. Number 2, provide the right incentives for people and institutions to do their own planning and preparation while avoiding imposing risks or losses on others. For example, we are in general against financial bailouts. They are costly, they cost about 10% of GDP, and give really bad incentives for excessive risk-taking. Sometimes, however, financial bailouts are necessary to prevent a systemic collapse. Well, if bailouts cannot be avoided, they should be conducted orderly so that those institutions and people who took the risks also pay the consequences. This happened, for instance, in Turkey 2001, which offers an interesting example to follow. Number 3, keep a long-run perspective for risk management by building institutional mechanisms that transcend political cycles. For instance, countercyclical fiscal policy, which is very necessary, requires a long-run perspective. This allows policymakers to manage the business cycle by using resources built over a prolonged time and in different scenarios. In this regard, best practice suggests targeting a long-run budget balance, as Chile, Colombia, and Norway, among others, are doing. Number 4, promote flexibility within a clear and predictable institutional framework. For instance, the Danish flexicurity system has provided enterprises in the country, in Denmark, to be more resilient towards shocks. They have obtained this by a combination of, first, ease of business entry and exit for firms and workers, and a strong social safety net. In this way, Denmark has proven to be resilient, especially in the last economic crisis, with low unemployment rate, only 6%, and brief jobless spells. Number 5, protect the vulnerable, while encouraging self-reliance and preserving fiscal sustainability. For example, well-designed safety nets that are sustainable promote self-reliance and even better practices for children's education and health. Examples of those safety nets are conditional cash transfers, as implemented in Brazil, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Mexico. I hope you have enjoyed this course, and I hope that the policy actions and recommendations that we have provided will help you, will help your community and your country manage risks more effectively and responsibly. Thank you.